Hey guys, I'm Catherine Orr with The Art of Real Estate, and today I'm with my good friends Dustin and Allison Bachman. They have a precious home in the avenues of Cayce, South Carolina, and they've done so many great things to make this house a home for them. If you've ever thought about fixing up your home or renovating a certain part of your house, these two are a great example of how you can make changes to your home on a budget and make it look awesome. So you can hear it straight from them. I'm going to be asking Dustin and Allison about what they did, how they did it, and how they made their house look so awesome. So Allison, I'm gonna start with you. So what were the circumstances that brought you guys to buying this home in the first place?
Yeah, so back in March of 2018, we had recently gotten engaged. And so 2 months later in May, we started looking around, thinking about buying a house. And we went out with a friend one day just for fun and popped through like maybe 3 houses. And this ended up being the 3rd house. And I still remember it very vividly. Dustin walked through the kitchen. We hadn't even seen the entire house yet. And he was like, I want to buy it. I want to make an offer. Let's do it. Do you have any reservations? And I was like, I mean, this is a little crazy. We haven't looked at anything else, but sure, like, let's do it. We went back that night, we wrote up an offer, and the next day it was accepted, which was super exciting. So we had the house and we were closed within a month. And from there, we just started dreaming about renovating it and waited patiently to be able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Dustin, so what are some things that you loved about the home and about the neighborhood, and what are some things that you wanted to change?
So I lived in Cayce in college on 12th Street, so really close to here, and I fell in love with how close it is to downtown, but you're not in the middle of the city. So you're able to kind of get away from the city, but also be in the middle of downtown within 5 minutes. So I really like that. The house itself, I just loved the brick. I liked just kind of the quaintness of the house, but we also knew that there were some upgrades that we wanted to change. The fireplace inside we wanted to change, just a few other minor changes, but we fell in love with the area first, and then the house was in good condition. It already had the base upgrades like granite countertops, etc. So we just knew we wanted to make a few other changes.
So how did you guys make the inside of your home more of what you wanted?
Yeah, so the house already had a great base to begin with. We had white cabinets, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, but the house overall was just a little dull. There wasn't much of a spark to it. So we started with the fireplace. It's floor to ceiling brick and it's beautiful, but it was just plain red brick and it was very dirty, wasn't cleaned off. So we painted that white as a focal point and that really lit up the room. So we kind of went from there. And then looking into the kitchen, we added gold knobs to go with a mid-century modern feel, and we did the same thing with some light fixtures in there, and that kind of made the room feel a little bit more like us. And after we finished the kitchen, we just decided that was how we were going to set the rest of the tone for the house, and we just kind of followed that through with the rest of the space.
So what made you guys decide that you wanted to renovate the exterior of your home and do it all on your own, and how did you prepare financially for that?
So I loved the brick on our house, and I felt like that would look incredible painted, and white was the only option for me. I decided white brick was going to make the biggest statement. And then from there, I just started Pinteresting ideas for the porch because I felt like it had a lot of potential. It was just very dull. And so I looked at some tile and some fun columns and things to kind of jog my brain as to how we could make this a fun renovation, but also do it ourselves.
So when we were looking at doing the exterior renovation and kind of trying to put together what Allison wanted to do, we were trying to decide if we wanted to get contractors to do certain things or if we wanted to do it all on our own. We started pricing out a lot of the stuff and realized that it really wasn't feasible to pay a lot of people. So we did decide that we were going to do it all on our own. From a financial perspective, I think we just kind of laid out everything that we wanted to do and put a price tag next to that on what it would cost to do it on our own. And then we just set goals and met those goals. And once we were there, we were able to move forward with the renovation.
So Allison, I know this is all you. So where did you get your inspiration as you started to design the outside of the home?
I love this question because truthfully, the idea came right around 2 a.m. at work one evening. I had some downtime and I just started drawing, and I started with the door. I knew I wanted a wooden door with glass 3/4 of the way down. And from there, I just kind of worked my way out. I looked for some mid-century modern address numbers. Then I started thinking, what could we do with the porch that would make it pop? And so I started looking into tile as a fun way to do that. And from there, the ideas just kind of kept flowing. And by the end of the night, I had an entire drawing of the entire front porch of the house. And I brought it home to Dustin and presented my ideas. And from there, that's when we kind of started.
So where did you guys learn how to DIY?
So growing up, we always did things kind of on our own around the house. I learned a lot from my dad. My dad was always kind of able to just do something on his own, look it up, research, and then fix it. And I kind of got that a little bit from him. So when we were going about doing these renovations, I knew a lot of this I could do myself. So I spent a lot of time reading online. I spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos, especially how to paint brick. I mean, there's a lot that goes on to that. So just watching YouTube videos, reading as much as you can, and getting as much information as possible before moving forward.
So were there any hiccups or challenges that you came upon when you started renovating?
Yes, so Dustin was very interested in staining the house, not painting it. So he did a lot of research and discovered that brick is porous, it needs to breathe. Stain allows brick to breathe, not paint. Paint takes away that opportunity, and then over time, the brick could potentially crumble or just not last as long. And so I felt Dustin had done the appropriate research. So we went to the store, we ordered stain, a 5-gallon bucket, thinking that was plenty for this house, and started that endeavor and realized very quickly that it was not going to work. The stain looked like the color of computer paper, and it not only was the color off, but it was so thin. We finished the front side of the house and then one side, and we were already out of an entire bucket. And we panicked. So we left the house half red brick, half computer paper white, and we drove to Lowe's and we picked a random color, ordered a ton of paint in it and some masonry primer as well. And we really just hoped for the best at this point because our house was 2 different colors and we knew our neighbors thought we were crazy and we just wanted to finish it. So we finished that evening with a full coat of the paint, did a second coat the next day, and it turned out beautiful. It just took a little bit of work in the middle.
So what was the most fun part about renovating your house?
So I will answer this one. Allison was trying to put together the design aspects of the house, but she couldn't find any shutters that she wanted. Over a long time on Pinterest, looking through different shutters, she finally found some that she wanted, and she just sent them to me, said, "Dustin, hey, can you build these?" And I was kind of like, sure, why not? And I sat down one night and just drew the picture on some graph paper, drew some measurements, and tried to figure out, how to get this thing to look like the picture. Once I kind of had my idea, I went to Lowe's the next day and bought all the wood and just built them over the course of the next 2 days. And I think they turned out great. I mean, I think that was the funnest part. I was able to put the most work into that and kind of see a really good result.
So what is your favorite part about the exterior of the home?
My favorite part is definitely the tile. I think it was a big risk, but I think it paid off well, and we have had the most compliments on the tile. And I love that because I think we went out on a whim going for something that we felt would look really great, even though we hadn't seen it done. And I think at the end of the day, it turned out really well.
So my favorite is actually also the tile, but something that I think goes underrated are the black gutters. We were going back and forth with white or black gutters. We didn't know what would look best. And I think if you look at the house before the gutters were on it and then look at it after the gutters were on it, the black really adds the pop, kind of the finishing touches, and makes it look like it's a complete home.
Okay, so if you're talking to someone who is interested in doing a DIY project on their home, what is the advice you would give them?
So for me, Allison had a ton of stuff that she wanted to get done, and it was really easy for me to feel overwhelmed. And I think the one thing that helped me kind of calm down and make the most sense of everything was to write out a list, see what I needed to do for each specific project, put a cost next to that, put the materials that I would need for that. So by just writing everything down, you're able to look at it and visualize it, and then take it step by step so you're not overwhelmed with the huge picture at the end of it.
And I would say my biggest thing is to have wiggle room in your budget, because at the end of the day, I don't think I've met anyone that does a renovation that does not spend more than their budget. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, you have things come up as you're going. For example, the tile, we just planned on doing the base, and that was it. We did not plan on doing around the porch or the steps. And then after we saw it, we were like, this doesn't look right. We have to finish. And we didn't think it would look wrong, but it did once we saw it. So little things like that you just have to kind of flex in the middle and just be willing to spend the extra money. And the last thing I would say is just go for it. I think a renovation project can be very intimidating to a lot of people, but the outcome is truly so rewarding. And I definitely feel like we have been able to make our house a home, and I love that.
So I hope this interview has been helpful to you today. If you've ever had an idea in your mind, you've always wondered how to make that a reality, Dustin and Allison have shared that if you just have a little bit of research, planning, and patience, you can make it happen.